Okay, let's move on. We've got one final statement, one final question. Are you a cyborg? Because they appear to be everywhere and have been for centuries.
Yeah, my initial gut reaction to this was, well, no, what are you talking about? And then I realised the significance of it.
Do you want to start by explaining what you think a cyborg could be defined as?
Well, a cyborg, it always makes you think of things like the Terminator, with that sort of metal skeleton and like a machine and computer thing going on. And then, I realised that actually we kind of started to blur the lines. Could you argue that anybody who's got an artificial limb is technically a cyborg?
It's interesting that you bring up the Terminator. It's one. I'll come back to the original question in a second, because the definition of a cyborg is a humanoid organism that has mechanical parts added to it. It's like augmented. But a Terminator is an interesting problem, because I would have said a Terminator is an android because it's a robot in the shape of a man.
Because it's a robot that's had biological elements added to it.
Yes, it's like coming from the other side. Mm. So because it's a machine augmented with human flesh, does that mean that it's a cyborg? Or is it still an android?
It's commonly referred to, as far as I'm aware, as being a cyborg. But I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a dictionary definition.
It's just that I'm thinking, does a cyborg have to have had the human element first? Or can you add the human element second?
I don't know, because then that would then beg the question, things like an organic computer that you could grow, would that be a cyborg, or would it be an organic computer, an android, or whatever?
I don't know.
But by your definition, somebody who's got an
artificial limb technically is a cyborg.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. You're a cyborg.
What, right now?
You've got glasses.
Oh, right.
Your vision is augmented with technology.
Okay. Cyborg, not a cyborg. Cyborg, not a cyborg. But no, not only that. Your Bluetooth headset, you're driving around in your ear there, and it's like tap of a button. Oh, hello.
Yeah, you've got communication across the planet attached to your ear.
It doesn't have to be sort of like permanently attached for you to be a cyborg. So does that mean that
people holding a phone?
Yes.
I'm taking it right to the furthest extreme here, but your telephone, especially a smartphone, I have the sum total of human knowledge in my hand, and it is there for me to engage with and access. Does that mean...
I've got a joke I've got to do. The internet is in this box. Do they know do the internet elders know you've got it?
No. But does this count as me being cybernetically enhanced? Because I have it with me at all times. I would argue that it doesn't, because I can put it down. But then again, I can take my glasses off.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say glasses count. I would say that an artificial limb, that's getting closer. But again, you can take them off.
But a replacement hip.
Replacement hip, then, yeah, you're definitely into cyborg territory, because you can't just take it off.
My speech is enhanced by having a piercing.
Yeah, but
this is one thing that a lot of people don't know. I have a tongue stud, and one of the things that happened with the tongue stud is it means that I had to relearn how to speak, which got rid of one of my speech impairments.
No, but see, the thing is, you can take your tongue stud out.
Can I?
But no, here's one for you. Right, hear me out here. If you claim that your tongue stud makes you a cyborg...
I didn't claim that it made me a cyborg. I said it had got rid of a speech impairment.
Yeah, but you're trying to imply here, in some respect, muddy the waters.
Yes.
That could make you a cyborg.
Now, I was implying that it was an enhancement that had helped me to get over a speech impediment.
No, but it doesn't do anything engineering, electrical or mechanical. It doesn't... It's an innate piece of metal. There's no joint in it. There's nothing like that. That would be like saying that if you had shrapnel in you from a bomb going off that they couldn't get out, so you had a piece of metal stuck somewhere in you, that wouldn't make you a cyborg. And
No.
by the same token, you've just got a dumb piece of metal that doesn't... There's
The
no
weight of it changed my tongue.
No, but there's no moving parts. There's no electronic augmentation,
So
no mechanical augmentation. It's just a bog standard, boring piece of metal version 1.0.
But there isn't a mechanical component because the weight of it changes how the tongue moves and how it functions. So I had to relearn how to speak.
Yeah, but on this
the
basis,
shrapnel would not do anything like that. That's damage.
Yeah, but on this basis, you're saying wearing clothes would make you a cyborg.
Well, that's the thing. How far do you take it? Where's the extreme?
I think you're right. The problem is that if you become too all-inclusive with this, then you reach a point where everything's a cyborg.
Which is why I wanted to take the extreme, so we could find where the limit would be.
Well, certainly, I think your clothes don't make you a cyborg. And your tongue stud doesn't make you a cyborg.
I would say some body modifications could, though.
Well, I think we've already just... A hip replacement, could be argued, does, but an artificial limb doesn't. And I think the key thing we're getting to here is being able to remove it at will without any medical intervention or anything.
Okay.
And I think in that respect, that means that your phone would fall outside the definition, so would your Bluetooth headset, so would your glasses. And I think that gets us back more towards what people would kind of conventionally, if you ask them what is a cyborg, it's what becomes what they would describe. And I think, therefore, the decider between you being a cyborg and you just having a phone in your pocket has to lie somewhere around there.
I think for the most part I would agree. I'm going to argue with you on the Bluetooth headset because I believe it's an enhancement. I'll grant you the glasses, but only because I think people are too familiar with the idea of a pair of spectacles. It's still an enhancement.
Yeah, but people...
It still alters the way you interact with the world and things like that. It's still signal processing. Right.
But then that would say that altering the way that you interact with the world, by that definition, you would now have to concede that a hammer, holding a hammer and using it, makes you a cyborg.
I don't think it doesn't. No, I think there is definite difference between tool use and enhancements.
Yeah, but then what do you define as a tool? Surely your glasses are a tool that allow you to see clearer.
I don't think we can...
And a Bluetooth headset becomes a tool to be able to talk without touching your phone.
Okay, then in that case, an implant in your finger that allows you to detect magnets is a tool that just helps you to be able to find electrical conductivity and determine...
No, this goes back to the definition that I brought up. Can you remove it without medical intervention at will? No, you can't. Therefore,
your definition of cyborg has to require some sort of implant.
I think it has to be a permanent modification.
Your basic definition of cyborg is what the average person would point to in a lineup, basically. That person is part machine, therefore cyborg.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I have written a series of books which
series of book.
And to be honest with you, I have written a series of books in the past which featured cybernetic organisms. And so I would consider myself to be not an expert, but more in tune with the
worldly.
Yeah, but more in tune with the vibe of what a cyborg is than you, given that I have written and had published 4 books. Read it, 4 books, in fact.
They're behind me, aren't they?
3 of the 4 are up there. I must track down a copy of the other one. I don't know which box they've been put away in. But yeah, I did think long and hard about it, and whilst I didn't hammer out a definitive definition, I think my rough and ready guide would stand. And to be honest with you, if you've got any ideas on this, we'd love to hear from you. Write them in the comments down below.
Which of us do you believe?
Yeah. Is it me being right because I am, or is it her being right because you're being contrary?
I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, look. See you later.